So, you've probably heard the story of Prince Siddhartha, right? The guy who sat under a tree and became the Buddha? But what if I told you that's just the final chapter of a much, much older story? We're talking about an origin story so vast, it stretches across spans of time that are, well, pretty much impossible to imagine.
It really makes you wonder, what does it actually take to become a fully enlightened being, a teacher for both gods and humans? The ancient texts lay out a journey so incredibly epic, it completely redefines what words like persistence and devotion even mean. So let's dive into that journey.
It wasn't just us humans who thought this was a big deal. Even the highest gods in the heavens, the Sattavasa Devas, said that witnessing a Buddha is the single rarest, most difficult thing to see in the entire world. It's an event that happens only after eons and eons of unimaginable effort. That really sets the stage for the scale of what we're about to get into. Okay, so long before he was Prince Siddhartha, the being who would one day become our Buddha, was a Bodhisattva. Basically, a soul dead set on the path to enlightenment. And for what felt like an eternity, he had one single goal: to get a prophecy from a living Buddha. A real confirmation that he too would make it all the way. And when I say the scale of this quest is huge, I mean, it's just mind-boggling. Get this, in one series of lifetimes, he was a great king who dedicated himself to serving 3 billion different Buddhas. And they all just happened to share the name Shakyamuni. For every single one, he made offerings, he listened, he supported them with everything he had. 3 billion times. And that was just a warm-up. After that, he served another 800 million Buddhas, who were all named Dipankara. Again, a lifetime of perfect devotion repeated 800 million times over. Just let that sink in.
And the list, it just keeps on going. I mean, he served 90,000 Buddhas named Kasyapa, then another 60,000 named Dipankara, 18,000 named Salaraja, thousands, tens of thousands more, across countless worlds and ages. It was a seemingly endless cycle of searching, serving, and just hoping. But here is the absolute kicker. After all of that, after serving literally billions of enlightened beings with perfect sincerity, not one of them ever turned to him and said, "Hey, you're going to be a Buddha one day." Not once. The goal was still completely out of reach. Can you imagine the sheer willpower it would take to keep going after that? But then, everything changes. The story shifts from these cosmic, unbelievable numbers to a very small, very human moment. In one specific lifetime, the Bodhisattva was reborn as a young Brahmin student named Cloud. And one day, he heard that the great Dipankara Buddha himself was about to visit his city. So Cloud desperately wants to make an offering, but there's a problem. The king bought up every single flower in the city for himself. Finally, after searching everywhere, he finds a servant girl secretly holding 7 precious blue Utpala flowers. He offers her 500 gold coins, a fortune, for just 5 of them. She says yes, but on one condition: that in all their future lives, she would be his wife. He agrees, as long as she never gets in the way of his spiritual path. So she gives him all 7 flowers and asks him to offer 2 in her name, tying their destinies together forever. So now, armed with these 7 flowers, Cloud rushes to see the Buddha. A huge crowd gathers as Dipankara and his followers approach. But right there, in the path ahead, is this big, gross, muddy puddle. No one wants to step in it, and it would be totally unthinkable for the Buddha to get his feet dirty. And in that split second, without any hesitation, he does something truly extraordinary. He doesn't just throw down his cloak. No, he lays his entire body face down in the mud and spreads his long hair over the ground to make a clean, human bridge. It's the ultimate act of selfless devotion, offering his own body as a path for the Buddha. As Dipankara Buddha walks across his back, he does the one thing that the Bodhisattva has been seeking for billions of lifetimes. He gives the shoji, the prophecy. Now, this isn't just a pat on the back. This is a definitive, irreversible declaration that seals your destiny. It's the exact moment when the impossible quest finally becomes a guaranteed outcome. And there it is, the words that literally change the course of our world's history. Dipankara Buddha looks down and declares that after an immeasurable eon, this young man in the mud will finally achieve his goal. He will become a Buddha, and his name will be Shakyamuni. After billions of Buddhas, after countless lifetimes of silence, the prophecy was finally given. So, what happens next? After you get a guarantee like that, do you just kick back and relax? Not at all. But the entire nature of the path changes.
It's no longer a search in the dark. It's now a confirmed journey home. And this timeline just shows it perfectly. After that first crucial prophecy from Dipankara, the Bodhisattva kept practicing, but now other Buddhas started to confirm it. And look at how the time between those prophecies starts to shrink dramatically. It goes from 100 million eons to 100,000, down to 1,000, and then just a few dozen. Each confirmation was another milestone, marking his progress as he picked up speed on the way to the final goal. And all of this brings us to one final thought. If this was the journey, if this almost impossibly epic struggle was the price of admission, the absolute bare minimum just to become a Buddha, what does that tell you about the value and the power of the teachings that were the final result? What does that imply about the destination he finally reached for all of us?